It seems to me John it must be great for the three of you to have John back in the band, because John seems to be that catalyst, that guy who makes you guys elevate your game. Is that a fair assumption to make? Because every time John's in the band, the band just seems like it goes to a certain level. John,
that's a fair assumption. He's more than a catalyst. He is a catalyst, but he's our brother. He's our family, and I think just being around him and seeing how much he pours into what he does is infectious. It's contagious. It's inspiring, literally inspiring, not just like, oh, wow, I'm inspired. But he offers ingredients and love and hard work and a cosmic ability to listen to the air around him and constantly conjure and produce sound and song and emotion. So for sure, it makes us want to do better, work harder, but it's also just fun. Like writing songs is fun, and waking up with nothing but going to sleep with something is a very satisfying feeling. And it's satisfying in a for free and for fun way. We didn't try to go write some hits. In fact, we kind of went the other way and went back to basics of just jamming, playing blues songs, playing old Red Hot Chili Pepper songs from the early 80s. And whatever came. You know, it wasn't something we were trying to manufacture.
What was it like for you guys? What was it like for you guys not to have John in the band? And John, what was it like for you to watch the Red Hot Chili Peppers do their thing and be away from the band? Was it good for you to have some time off and just kind of, I don't know, regenerate or get new ideas? I would think when you're in one of the biggest bands in the world, it must have been really difficult for you to step away.
I didn't spend any time regretting it. It was the right thing for me to do at the time. And I really didn't pay attention to rock music in general, other than the old stuff that I'm attached to. But yeah, I was just making electronic music, and they were living in one world and I was living in another one. So yeah, I wasn't paying attention really.
What made you ready to come back for this album?
It was a certain amount of soul searching that I'd done, and conversations with my closest friend, where a couple of my closest friends, where it seemed like I'd changed and grown enough as a person to where there were certain things that I wanted to. I wanted. It felt like it would be a beautiful thing to have another chance to do it right. I felt that way when I rejoined the first time.
Right.
Was that on a personal level and on a musical level, I had some new ideas about where I thought those relationships could go, and it was the same thing this time. I was seeing Anthony and Flea and Chad through a different lens than I had seen them through when I quit. Not that either time that I quit that it was specifically anything to do with personal, but having a personal relationship in a band is a hard thing. You've got to be in sync with four people, working as hard as they work, doing, going where they go, doing what they do, almost thinking what they think every day. It's an intense thing to do, and so I've found for myself that I've needed to clear my head of it and try to figure out who I am as a person, and where I had gotten to in 2019 before I rejoined for the second time. I really wanted to have that closeness and that kind of vulnerable interaction with them again. Yeah, that's where it had come from for me.
Must have been great for you guys, though. You must have been like, oh, wow, John wants to come back. It must have been really kind of a no-brainer, right? Or did you guys have some discussion and say, gee, could we go back and just start working again together?
I mean, there was definitely something in the air, because without knowing that John wanted to come back, and without knowing that Flea had been having interactions with John musically, suddenly I felt very overwhelmed with the feeling of, how do we get John back? And
Right.
and Flea and I had a very classic moment where we went to each other to say something important, and he's like, I gotta go, and I was like, no, I gotta tell you something. I got to. And it was just in the air. It was time for John to come back, and I was shocked when Flea told me that John was interested and that he had been playing with John, and you know, there were no hard feelings, there were no resentments, there were no regrets. The fact that we were able to kind of keep things going while John was away was sort of perfect in the end, because we were available when he showed up, and it was time for change, and we felt
You know,
it in
but-
our art.